Many of you may be familiar with Mayon Volcano, which sits over Legazpi City in Albay Province. Said to have a perfect cone, its iconic beauty has been the subject of many a photo, postcard, and of course, folk story. Because Mayon is not just a pretty picture, it also happens to be the most active volcano in the country. It is a reminder that with beauty can come a lot of danger. Today's story is somewhat about that. Many may not know this, maybe because Mayon is just so popular, but the volcano actually sits near a few other mountains and volcanoes in the Bicol region. And it is said that, long ago, Mayon's land was not as fertile as it is now, so she did not have as many resources. To get what she needed, she would go around borrowing stuff from her neighbors. She would borrow all sorts of things, from veggies and rice to sunblock and shoes. She was also an expert at figuring out her neighbors' router passwords and leeching off their Wi-Fi. Yes, in short, Mayon was kind of a mooch. Though she got a lot of things, perhaps the most important thing Mayon the Mooch borrowed was fire. Because unlike her neighbors who could make fire on their own, at that time, Mayon was not a volcano yet, so she couldn't, which also explains why her land was not as rich and fertile. Now among her neighbors was Mount Malinao, who, for the most part, was very accommodating. Maybe a little too accommodating. A typical visit from Mayon would go something like this.
Hey, Melly, do you have some ginger? On the cabinet to the left. How about some coconut milk? Next to the garlic. Oh, can I have some of that too? And oh, you have lemongrass and taro leaves. Can I get some of those too? Sure, go ahead. I kinda need some chili too, so...
Though she was frustrated and not just a little bit annoyed, she let Mayon have her way, for the most part. So yes, Malinao was kind of a doormat. And what do you get when you have a doormat and a mooch? A relationship that sort of oddly works in a problematic, will explode in your face one of these days kind of ways. So, like the supplies in Malinao's kitchen, her patience did run out at some point. One day, some visitors paid a surprise visit to Mayon. As she was preparing food, she realized that the fire she had borrowed fizzled out. Quickly setting out, she went straight for Malinao's place, knowing that she could get fire from her best friend, who had a never-ending supply anyway.
Hey, Melly, can I have some fire? No. What? No.
Fed up with Mayon's antics, Malinao just kept denying her.
Please, 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 please. No. Please, 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 please. No. Please, 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 please. No.
Now, Mayon's kind of known to have a very bad temper. Realizing that her visitors were waiting, and after being denied so many times, she threw a fit. In her frustration, she found Malinao's bolo, which is like a machete. It was near the door where she had just returned it the previous day. Fueled by rage, she took it in hand and... Let's just say, this story explains why Mayon looks like this, and Malinao looks like that. This is also how Mayon became a volcano. After taking Malinao's fire, she figured her friend would not need it any longer. Mayon is arguably one of the world's most beautiful volcanoes. You can take a photo of its perfect cone from anywhere, and it will still look good. But her temper can still be felt today, whenever the volcano erupts. Mayon is actually the subject of many other stories. One of them personifies the Magayon Trio, a group of 3 volcanoes, including Mayon, Malinao, and Mount Masaraga, as sisters. In that story, it is said that Mayon Volcano grew from the place where the maiden Magayon was buried, together with her fiancé, Ulap, which means cloud. Perhaps I could tell that story sometime in the future. Now, can you guess what Mayon was going to make from her impromptu grocery shopping spree at Malinao's kitchen? That would be Pinangat, a dish popular in Albay. Drenched in coconut milk, Pinangat also uses gabi or taro leaves as a main ingredient. In the local language of the Bicol region, Pinangat actually means wrapped, so it is a dish that uses these taro leaves folded together like a nice little gift. This dish is so important in the area that the town of Kamalig, which is at the foot of Mayon Volcano, celebrates the Pinagnat Festival every year in the month of June. So, if you ever do get to visit Albay, take lots of photos of Mayon, maybe go hiking in Malinao, and enjoy some Pinangat. Hope you enjoyed the story and that extra trivia about food. Until next time, thanks for watching.